Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a world that might feel a bit retro, but is still buzzing with life. We're talking about CB radio. You might have seen them in old movies, with truckers talking to each other using cool handles, saying things like Breaker 19 and What's Your 20. But what exactly is a CB radio? Is it just for truckers? And why on earth would anyone still use one in the age of smartphones? Well, buckle up, because we're about to transmit all the answers. So, let's start with the basics. CB stands for Citizens Band. It's a system of short-distance radio communication that uses a specific selection of 40 channels. Think of it like a public party line in the airwaves. Unlike your phone, which connects to a cell tower, CB radios talk directly to each other. This is called peer-to-peer communication. It's totally free to use, no monthly subscription, no data plans, just the initial cost of the equipment. And you won't even need a license to operate one in the United States and many other countries, which makes it super accessible for anyone who wants to jump in. The gear itself is pretty straightforward. You have the radio unit, often called a transceiver because it can both transmit and receive signals. Then you have a microphone to talk into, and most importantly, an antenna. The antenna is the real star of the show. A good, properly tuned antenna is what sends your voice out into the world and pulls in the voices of others. The range can vary a lot, from just a few miles to 20 miles, or even more, depending on your setup, the terrain, and even the weather. Now, you might be asking, what's the point? What is CB radio actually for? Well, its original and most famous purpose is for communication on the road. Truck drivers have been using CBS for decades to share real-time information. We're talking traffic updates, warnings about accidents or road hazards, speed traps, and even just finding a good place to stop for a bite to eat. It's a social network for the highway, a way to stay connected and informed when you're spending long hours behind the wheel. Channel 19 is the unofficial highway channel in the U.S., and it's almost always active with chatter. But it's not just for truckers. CB radio is a fantastic tool for anyone who travels, especially in groups. Imagine you're on a road trip with a few friends in different cars, heading out to a campsite. Instead of fumbling with your phones, trying to text or call while driving, you can just hop on a pre-arranged CB channel. Hey Bob, we're pulling off at the next exit for gas. It's instant, it's easy, and it keeps everyone in the loop. It's also incredibly popular with off-road enthusiasts. When you're out in the wilderness, climbing mountains in your 4x4, you're probably not going to have cell service. CB radio becomes your lifeline, allowing you to coordinate with your group, spot for each other over tricky obstacles, or call for help if someone gets stuck. And that brings me to a really important point: emergency communication. When cell towers go down because of a natural disaster like a hurricane, an earthquake, or a massive power outage, your smartphone becomes a very expensive paperweight. But a CB radio, which can be powered by your car's battery or a separate power source, will still work. Local communities, emergency response groups, and just regular folks use CBS to coordinate rescue efforts, share information about shelters, and check on their neighbors when all other lines of communication are dead. It's a simple, reliable technology that shines when modern tech fails. So, who are the people using CB radios today? As we've mentioned, truckers are still the backbone of the CB community. It's a part of their culture. But you'll also find a huge community of hobbyists. These are people who just love the magic of radio. They set up base stations at their homes with big antennas to see how far they can talk. They collect vintage radios, experiment with different equipment, and enjoy the social aspect of it. It's a bit like being an old-school social media influencer, but your followers are the people who can actually hear your signal. These hobbyists often have unique handles or nicknames, like Rubber Duck from the movie Convoy. It's all part of the fun. And then there's the everyday user. Farmers use them to communicate across vast fields. Construction crews use them on large job sites. Boaters use them out on the water. Basically, anyone who needs reliable short-range communication without relying on a cell network can find a use for a CB radio. It's a tool for work and for play. So, why should you consider using a CB radio in this day and age? Let me break down the big advantages. First, it's independent. You are not reliant on any company's infrastructure. As long as you have power and another person with a radio is within range, you can talk. It's a sense of freedom you don't get from a cell phone. Second, it's real-time. The information you get on ACB, especially on the highway, is happening right now. You're hearing from people who are just a few miles ahead of you, giving you a heads up about a traffic jam you're about to hit. By the time that same information gets to a smartphone app, you might already be stuck in it. Third, it's a community. Talking on the CB radio is a shared experience. You hear the different personalities, the jokes, the warnings, the shared frustrations of the road. It connects you to the people around you in a way that scrolling through a social media feed just can't. It's anonymous, yet personal. You might never meet the person you're talking to, but for a few minutes, you're sharing the same stretch of road and the same experience. And finally, it's just plain fun. There's a certain thrill to keying up the mic, saying breaker, breaker, and having a voice come back to you from out of the static. It's about tuning the dial and discovering who's out there. You might have a serious conversation about road conditions, or you might end up in a silly chat with someone a few towns over who is just as passionate about radio as you are. It's an adventure in communication. So, to sum it all up, CB radio is a simple, license-free, and free-to-use form of two-way radio communication. It's used by truckers for logistics, by off-roaders for safety, by communities for emergencies, and by hobbyists for fun. It offers a degree of independence, real-time information, and a sense of community that is hard to find elsewhere. It's not a replacement for your smartphone, but it's an amazing companion to it. It's a backup, a tool, and a hobby all rolled into one. Maybe it's time to add a little old-school analog charm to our high-tech digital lives. Who knows? You might just get hooked. What do you think? Have you ever used a CB radio? What was your experience? Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this little trip down the airwaves, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We'll catch you on the flip-flop. Over and out.